Standing here eating my morning light, even though it is raining and it is cloudy. It's amazing because it's light out, I think that means the sun is out. I could be mistaken, but I think the only reason I can see you is because the sun is up. I think. Still getting what I need from El Capitan up there. Really quickly, I've done this video before, but I want to go into a couple things. So, having been a practitioner in injuries for coming up on 22 years now, I knew nothing. I was a pro athlete. I had a background. I thought I knew at the time what the approach was. I was just going to do it for people now. I was going to help people. And then all of a sudden we start pulling things apart, and everything I'd ever known was not true. Done. Physical therapy, training, rehab, all of it. I'm like, wait, what's going on? This has been the way it is forever? Holy shit, wait, there's more here. And then that started me and catapulted me on my path. Thought I needed to add some things, got some degrees, realized that wasn't accurate at all. The chiropractic degree makes no sense whatsoever. At the time it did. And then you go through it and you just see what it's based on and what they're selling and what you're saying. And it just doesn't make sense to saying the body heals itself. The body is, all it does is heal and adapt, except for the spine. That's where it gets stuck. And that just doesn't make sense and didn't make sense to me. And when you throw that out, you actually see healing come to the forefront. And this is for all professions. So the journey was extensive and it's still going. That's why I haven't really added anything, because I got enough with the principles that we have on the day-to-day. It's bottomless, it's infinite. So, but something I did see was I had access to people. These were professional athletes. So the money they had was to put towards their bodies, to put towards their profession. It was a write-off. They had no limit to the financial requirement for specialists and treatments and everything else. So I got to see people come in with varying degrees of injuries and all sorts of things. And something that I observed was the ones who did it all healed the slowest. For the most part, for some of the most basic shit. I was like, how the fuck are you still dealing with this? Oh, I'm doing this for body working, and I'm rolfing this, and I'm going and sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, and I'm doing laser, and I'm doing these herbs, and I'm doing this, and trigger, and all. I was like, oh my God. Because I thought, what would be bad if you just went in and covered all your tracks? What if we just did it all? Because that is a mindset, right? Like, take it all, do it all. To become an expert, you got to do this stuff, so let's just do it all. I mean, fuck, I've had people come into my office only because somebody else came in and they're just doing it because the other person. We just come here because they came here. Do you even know what I do? No, they came here. They're good. We're going to do it too. Okay. And so even I was a part of that group where it was like, do more. The more, the better. And then you come to find out, the more the not, the better. The body has to process things at a timely basis for itself, and you need to feel those things. And when you're stacking things up, you can't, there's no way to judge what's causing what's doing the other. And then I went a step further, and you see that all the treatments, all of them, anything labeled with therapy, anything labeled with treatment, anything outside yourself, specifically purposely antagonizes the body's healing response. All degrees, certifications, licenses. That's why I can say that, is you see what these all are standing on, what the foundation of what they're standing on, and they're purposely, specifically antagonizing the natural adaptive healing response and getting in the way of it. And when you make a change in the body that it's trying to do, it's like trying to reduce a fever, it will continue to either produce that or shift to another way of getting your attention or trying to heal that organism. So again, it's same thing with injuries, but I was noticing that the progression of it was one, the ones who were doing the most never healed or took forever. And then I started to go into deeper dives on what all these treatments were. And then you just start to see that based on how the body responds to its environment and the natural processes that go, every single one of them inhibit the natural responses. But what everybody's clever on doing now is they will sell the words of you heal you, the body heals itself, the body's adaptive, you're never sick, this, that. And then they go ahead and proceed and do a treatment or a process or a procedure or a gadget or their license or their carryout or their certifications of whatever, whether it's balancing labs, whether it's adjusting a spine, whether it's doing acupuncture, body work, massage, fascial treatment, laser, postural shit, orthotic, I mean, you name it. Every single one of those things, the whole discipline is based on the body being flawed and needs to be fixed. And this doesn't work. And the body won't fucking lie. So if you continue to do these things that get in the way, the body only knows one direction, forward, heal. It won't get off that track. It'll look like it got sidetracked and tricked for a while. That's when you feel good. Well, I feel better. My performance is better. This stuff's better. And then all hell broke loose. 3 months later, I had a flare up or I had a, that's not healing. There are no flare ups in healing. True. You continue to move on and you move forward to another level, and you get to a point. Are you ever done healing? No, but you get to a point where your body no longer needs your attention to heal to that level. You did the work it needed. You made the changes it needed at the level that was required and needed. And when it comes to injuries, it has to be an input greater than what caused the injury in the first place. Addressing all essentials, movement being the most primary, but all of them. So that was my journey there, and that's why I can stay that. And then you start to see all the little things and tricks and gimmicks that are coming out now. It's like, my God. And I want to go to that. When you see a practitioner, because here's a trend that nobody's talking about, because I'm always asking, like, these people are antagonizing clients' bodies. They're getting in the way of the healing responses. All these professions, all these approaches. If they're doing it to themselves, they can't hide themselves. So what happens when their body finally freaks out and goes, dude, I've been trying to get your attention. You can't keep doing this way. Because every practitioner is going to have a response. Just like I had a response last year. I had 5 injuries last year. What'd you do? Everything that I'm doing now. Healed them. Done. Thank God for those injuries, because I found leaks, I found holes, I found things in life I wasn't prepared to do. Is it because I'm falling apart? No, it's because I'm trying to do new things and pushing and living and flying and doing all this crazy shit that body just goes, hey, you can't keep doing this with the current level that you're at now. So either 1, don't do that, or 2, change. So I chose to change. 5, done. What did I add? I added nothing. What treatments did you add? Nothing. None. But in the face of that, you heal and you move along. But now these practitioners are going to get to a point where they can't hide it anymore. So what do? Well, something that's very interesting, and you can start to notice this trend if you're still having a hard time seeing this stuff. When a practitioner goes and adds on to their practice, when they add on a gadget or add on a machinery or add on a protocol or add on a list of things that they're selling, it's because they're not doing well for the most part. And their total symptomatology has shifted to where they think that this new thing is going to help them. That's what we have now. We have a bunch of people becoming experts in their own healing responses. Experts is what they think. And so they get into a profession because they've monitored their healing responses to a point that they've kind of held themselves together with masking tape. And if it doesn't all fall apart, they look the part of a practitioner. And if it falls apart, they can do their thing to control the flare-up, and then they have to put in, at some point, that doesn't work anymore. It's like holding clothes in a dryer with the door open, and you're just like trying to fit it all in, and then at some point, all the fucking clothes spill out, and you got to be honest with yourself. So again, these practitioners will add on these pieces of machinery, because they also get a discount on this stuff. So that's another big one, is they get a massive discount, a massive write-off to utilize this equipment or gadget or treatment for them. You're paying for it because you're putting you through the treatment. So it's a very sneaky thing that you see, and you can tell how a practitioner is doing by what they're adding. So if somebody's adding, this is classic, case in point, I won't use her name, she's just a train wreck and a disaster, but you see who's adding, and somebody who had no fucking idea what they're doing. All this shit, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden adds regenerative medicine. Why? Because they're going through stuff that they would feel regenerative medicine would help. And they get this massive discount right up. They go to a conference, they get an upcharge, they do all these things for $1,000, make thousands and thousands off of you, while implementing the treatment to themselves, that'll only work for so long. Body's going to still go straight ahead forward, hard as it can, heal. Can't trick it out, can't lie to it, and then they're going to shift off to something else and add on something else till that doesn't work anymore. And then it's tricks and smokes and mirrors, and they're either not being honest or whatever. But that's something very interesting that I've noticed. Like, do you ever notice that the practitioners that are adding shit on are doing it because their body is screaming the symptom of the treatment that is going to quiet that symptom for them first, and then they get to pay for it? They get it basically for free because it's a business expense, but then they're charging you, so you guys are paying for it for them to use it. It's uncanny. Anyway, so that's something else to view, because it's just too obvious when you know the truth and you see behind a lot of this stuff. So point of this video was not that part. Point of it was, in my unbiased, wanting to do better for me first opinion, the people that did the most never finished healing to a level the body no longer needed their attention. And then when I went further, I'm like, why is that? And you see what all these treatments, gadgets, licenses, credentials, certifications, and degrees are all based on. All these divisions of medicine. Stay in rehab. Let Cassie do her thing over there, because she's the one over there. Stay in rehab, physical therapy, injuries, body, all this stuff. Every single one of them is based on purposely, specifically reducing an adaptive healing response to the body for the sake of feeling better and spinning it to your body is amazing. And your body only heals itself, and you heal you. And then that's another thing. When these flare-ups occur or all this stuff doesn't work, who gets the blame? Your age, your kids, your sex, your hormones, your 5G or the fucking chemtrails or whatever the hell else. They will spin something. Well, you're living in a time where now it's more toxic. Now, yeah, I mean, you're at a time where, but there's people thriving right now. What about them? So again, you're not at fault unless you continue to try to approach it this way. There's one direction of healing, that way. If you get in the way of any response the body does to adapt and heal to your environment, you are perverting that process. You can buy yourself some time. Sometimes it might make sense for you. I needed to do the treatment because of XYZ. That's cool. Just understand, because nobody's going to tell you this. If you did something to feel better, or did something to balance something, or did something to fix imaging or a lab, or you did something to restore something to you through any one of these treatments, any licensed professional of any kind, you're going to have to go offset that with even more work in the essentials, more changes, more intensity, more emotion, more depth, doing this on the other side. True healing, life. Everything that is your life. So you can choose those things and opt into those things every now and then, where it's like, dude, I just had to. Okay, just understand that for every just had to, you got to offset that. Shit, I had that the other night. As I've said, every convenience you devolve, this isn't talking about treatments, but sort of, anytime somebody helps you in any way, it just set you back a little. I'm not saying don't get for help or whatever, but you just have to understand. So I was going to get a pizza. I had it door dashed. Oh, you DoorDashed? Why didn't you just walk down the road? Totally right. I completely could have. I walked to the grocery store instead and did some other things. So because I opted for that, a person delivering food to my freaking front door, guess what I did to offset that? What I would have gained in that stimulus there as a challenge to my body, I offset here through challenges of training inputs, greater than what I think that would have been interpreted as. And that's how I look at things. I'm not this crazy, always needing a challenge. No, the body needs the challenge. But when you make a decision as small as that, you got to understand the payout. You got to understand the investment and what's going on. And if you make a bunch of those, you just got to understand the work that you need to do. There's no lying. There's no tricks. But the body will literally get your attention and say, you've ordered food to your doorstep for the last 15, I need you to do this, that, and the other. And it's not ordering food. This is in quotes, but I'm just saying. That's how I live and see things and look at things. Do I take conveniences? Fuck yeah. But for every single one of those, I'm like, okay, got to offset that with done. Boom. And that balance seems to be working out. And I will continue to pull that apart. All right. Boom. Let's go. Have a day.